Welcome back. Well, it's party time. Tea party time. The Tea Party was dismissed as just a storm in a, dare one say it, teacup, but not anymore. Not after a number of Tea Party candidates toppled mainstream Republicans in primary contests ahead of November's midterm elections. Now, 70% of Republicans say in one poll that they support the Tea Party. So what is it all about? Joining me from Sacramento is one of the key players, Sal Russo. Sal is chief strategist and certainly chief fundraiser of the Tea Party Express, an organization that is the single largest supporter of Tea Party candidates. Sal, what is it all about, the Tea Party?
Well, I think what the Tea Party movement is, and it's not only in the United States, although there are about 4,000 different Tea Party groups in the U.S., we're seeing them spring up in Asia and Europe as well. And what it is, it's people that are gravely concerned about the growth and intrusiveness of their federal governments, with the accompaniment of, higher taxes, more onerous regulations, high deficits, and, frighteningly, these staggering national debts that nobody really has a good plan to how they're ever going to be paid. So I think it's really focused on the economic issues and concern that government is growing too big and too expensive, and that we're not able to sustain it, and it's going to jeopardize economic growth and prosperity for the future.
And what would you say, how would you characterize the relationship now with the Republican Party? Obviously, in lots of ways, you're very close to the Republican Party. On the other hand, some Republicans are saying you're taking votes away from them. What's the relationship with the Republican Party?
Well, I would say there would not have been a Tea Party movement in the United States if it weren't for the fact that people felt both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party both lost their sense of fiscal responsibility. So the spending when Republicans had control of the Congress and the White House seemed to go on just about as unabated as when Democrats did. So the Tea Party movement really is a reaction to the fact that both political parties failed to take serious getting America's fiscal house in order. So I think if it weren't for that, we wouldn't even have a Tea Party movement.
One poll just last week said that 71% of Republican voters now support the Tea Party, or the idea of the Tea Party. Is the Tea Party, in fact, pushing the Republican Party drastically to the right? And is it a possibility in the next major elections, when they come around, the next presidential elections, is it a possibility that the Tea Party will be a third party in addition to the Democrats and the Republicans? Is that a possibility?
The Tea Party Express, which is the most active politically of all the Tea Party groups, we focus only on the economic issues. So we're only concerned about the growth and intrusiveness of government and the high cost of deficits and debts. So in our midst, we have people that are quite liberal on social issues or cultural issues, maybe have very isolationist foreign policy views. So I don't see it as a left-right thing as much as it is people that are determined to get America's fiscal house in order. As far as whether or not the Tea Party movement could ever emerge as a political party, I don't think so. I mean, I think our goal is not to create a third party. The law in the United States makes it difficult for a third party to succeed. So our really purpose is to get both political parties to make fiscal responsibility a key element of what their platforms are.
But the people who try to portray it just as an organization of angry white men, as it were, is that unfair?
Sure. I mean, when the Tea Party movement started, I mean, it was demonized by many on the left that were concerned about its growth, and so it was accused of being, a artificial grassroots organization that was being funded by someone. And then when that didn't work and the crowds kept growing, they kept saying, well, it must be a bunch of crazy people. And they'd find one crazy person in an audience and say, this reflected these millions of people that have gotten politically active. And then when that didn't work, then they pulled the race card. Well, this must be racist because we have an African-American president. But then, as I point out, we have Tea Party groups growing in Europe and Asia. So it has nothing to do with race. It has to do with concern about the growth of government and how we're going to deal with these deficits and these skyrocketing national debts, not only in America, but literally all over the world.
And Sal, as you look ahead just a few weeks now, how do you expect the midterm elections to turn out? Do you think that the Republicans are going to take both houses? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, what I like to say is I think we've achieved victory already. And the victory is that we have candidates from both political parties, from the entire spectrum, from left to right, sounding like they belong to a Tea Party movement. I mean, really, the only person in America today that is suggesting that we should have more government programs and higher taxes and higher deficits is President Barack Obama, which, of course, is why his poll numbers keep declining. He's out of sync, I think. He's tone deaf to what the American people are trying to say. So I think this election in November 2010 is going to be a continuation of the success that the Tea Party movement has already enjoyed, and we're going to elect a lot more people that are going to have the economy and fiscal responsibility #1 on their agenda. So whether it's control of the House or control of the Senate, I think there's going to be tremendous gains, and I think we're on our way to getting this country back on a more sound financial footing once this election's over.
Sal, thank you very much indeed for being with us and spelling those points out for us to hear, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be with you.
Well, from America's domestic policy to its foreign policy, the global aid budget, so it involves all of us, after the break.